Here's a big one, and here's a fun one, okay? I'm excited for this one. We are going to cover parameter expansion. This is one of the most powerful features that I think Bash has. Don't get me wrong, pipelines are incredibly powerful, obviously. I'm not saying this is the most powerful, but this is incredibly powerful. This is one of my favorite things about Bash. This is why we don't need a lot of those external tools. We can do a lot of this with Bash built-ins. I'm going to go over a lot here. There's even more that I'm not going to cover. I'm going to link references for this. The actual Bash manual will go over all of the possibilities you can do here, but I'm going to show you a lot of them and a lot of the very useful ones and just get you comfortable with the syntax for it. So let's get started. Let's make a variable here. We're going to do a lot of this interactively. Make a variable, Dave Eddy. Hey, there's my name. Simple, right? If we echo $s, we get my name. Let's be good. Let's put quotes around it. Let's actually put quotes around it. There we go. Cool. So that's very simple. What can we do? Well, we can put these curly braces around it, and we can get ready to start doing some stuff to it, okay? This hasn't changed anything. We've just put the curlies around it. We could put the pound sign in front of it, and now we get the length of the string. Dave plus Eddy plus the white space, 9 characters. So what are some other things we can do? Get ready for this. Let's put a single caret here, or the up arrow, or whatever you want to call it, the thing that's on Shift 6 if you're on a QWERTY keyboard. So what happens when we do this? Look at that. We've capitalized the first letter of the string. So that is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and do a double caret. What do you think is going to happen? We've capitalized the entire string. So capitalization, lowercase, to upper, all that stuff, it's built into Bash. You have it right here. I want to say this was introduced in Bash version 4, so you may want to check to make sure your version of Bash can support it. But yeah, I think it's been around for a while. There are some other things we can do here. We can add letters here. So I could put a D here. And as you can see, we just capitalized the D's. So every time a D showed up in the string, we capitalize it. Of course, we have the double caret there. If we only had a single caret, that means capitalize the first D that we see at the beginning, so like that. So if we have our double caret, the nice thing is here, we could do D and A, right? We want to capitalize the D and we want to capitalize the A. Doesn't really work that way. We need to specify a pattern. So let's make this a pattern. This is a Bash specific syntax, but now we match a D character and we match the A character, capitalizing both of them, which is pretty cool. Now there is another thing we can do. Instead of the carets, what if we do commas? So instead of being at the top, they're at the bottom now. Well, that looks the same, doesn't it? Let's go ahead and change our string a little bit. Let's do all caps, Dave Eddy. Let's go to the top. There we go. Now let's rerun this. Lowercase, comma, comma is 2 lower. If we do 1 comma, it's just 2 lower on the first character. It's all very same. It's all very the same to what I've showed you. You could put a capital D here and then we lowercase every instance of the capital D. We could do the capital DA, it fails. We could put that in the pattern notation and it works. Now we're lowercasing the D's and the A's. So yeah, comma is 2 lower, caret is 2 upper, super useful. All right, we're gonna jump around a little bit, but let's go ahead and make a little script for this example. We'll call this, oh, not in the directory I thought I was. Let's go into my foo directory. If you run cd on its own and hit enter, it'll bring you to your home directory. Just a nice little shortcut for you. Now we're gonna go into foo, and we are in this directory that we are used to being in. So let's go ahead and make parameter expansion. There we go. So let's go ahead and let's do name equals $1. Let's echo hello name, and then let's echo done. Okay, very simple. We've written code like this 1,000 times. So what is going to happen? Well, no trickery. It's going to work exactly how I expect it to work. It's going to say hello to whatever argument we give it. We didn't give it an argument. We could get Dave, and it says hello Dave. Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Perfect sense, right? So what can we do here? Well, we can do some sort of things. We can set default values here, which is pretty cool. So we can do this curly brace. We put the curly braces around it as you're used to. We could do colon hyphen, and we could say Steve. Colon hyphen means if this is not set or it's set to an empty string, we're going to change it for Steve. So what that means is if we run our script, it'll say Dave. If we run it with nothing, it says Steve. So that's a way of setting sort of a default value using Bash like this. Also, we can do variable expansion here. So we could do this. We could say set it to whatever the user gives us, or take their username from the all caps $user variable. So if we don't give it any sort of name, it'll print Dave, because that's my name. If we put John here, then it says hello John. So you can set variables as default values. Another cool thing we can do is you could get rid of all this and just put a question mark here. And this is super useful, because what this means is the argument is required now. So if I run this script without an argument, you can see, parameter not set. It just broke there. Not the best error message, but it broke there. If I give it an empty string, it works because it was set. But if I just run it like this, it says parameter not set. So if you want a better message, you could do something like this. You must supply a name. Yes, this looks super weird, but it works. So now it says, oh, here's the error here. You must supply a name. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, it takes an empty string that is a valid name. If you didn't want it to, you would have to use this alternative syntax where, what is it, a colon, I think? Yeah, I think it's colon question mark, just like it was colon hyphen before. This is going to be the same thing, but it will actually break if you give it an empty string. So if you give it nothing or an empty string, it'll treat them the same. But if you say Steve, it'll say hello, Steve. So yeah, two things to keep in mind. Super convenient. If you're just prototyping a script, if I'm prototyping a script, I'll sometimes just do this because it's a real quick and easy way of saying, hey, they better give me something here. You better supply something, you know? All right, the next thing I want to talk about is replacements. So let's say we have a variable called path. We're just going to make up a random path here. Home, Dave, foo.txt. This file doesn't exist. It's just a string. So if we echo $path, you can see we get that. Hey, that makes sense. Of course, we could do things. We could pipe it to tr, and we could change a for o, and we get dove, obviously. We can also do this in bash. So we can just do our curly brace notation, as we're used to, and then we can change all of the a's for o's. And the way we can do that is by /a/o. So after the first slash is the thing you want to find. After the next slash is the thing you want to replace it with. And there you go. Now Dave has become Dove. Now here's the thing. What if we wanted to go backwards? What if we wanted O to become A? So we would have, Haim and Dave and Faye.txt. I don't know, it's weird. Notice that we have Haim here, but we still have foo. That's because it only does this expansion or this substitution once. You need a double slash here. Once you have the double slash, then it will do it for every time it finds it. So you can see this became Haim, this became FAA. So that's how you do find and replace multiple times with the bash built-in parameter expansions. I want to show you these two commands. We can do dir name on path, which will just give us the home Dave component. Actually, let me just echo path so you can see what we have. So here's what we have. If we run dir name on it, it gives us the directory name where the file is. And if we run base name on it, we can see that we get the foo.txt portion. This is super useful, but these are not built into your shell. They're external commands. They're pretty much going to be there. You can probably rely on them, but we can do this with bash built-ins. The syntax is going to be a little bit weird. I know some people don't prefer this, but let me show you. If we echo the path with the curly braces, there's no change there, right? Now, what we can do is we can say from the beginning of the line, that's what the pound sign here is for, from the beginning of the line, match anything up until a slash and delete it. This will remove anything from the beginning of the line all the way up into a slash. So if we run this, we deleted the first slash and that was it. Okay, well, it's kind of not really what we wanted, right? We wanted to do it greedily. We wanted to match all the way up until the last slash. We want it to be greedy in its left to right search. So we do double pound sign. If we do this notation, looks gnarly, we get the base name of the file. So that's pretty cool. Pound sign is a way to start from the left and delete going to the right. The opposite of that, percent sign. Percent sign starts from the right and goes to the left. Double percent sign makes it greedy, but a single percent sign starts from the right, goes to the left. So now we want to match /*. So what that means is we have the file name right here. We're going to start from the right and we're going to match anything up until the first slash. So we match this, there we go, and we delete this. So we should be left with the dir name. So these are some really cool ways of just changing things with bash. You can do all sorts of changes. So pound sign, delete from the left, percent, delete from the right, slash, find and replace. So the find and replace, like, we could find all the A's and replace them with O, and we get this. You can also do patterns here. So I could find an F. I could do it like that. And now we replaced all the A's and all the F's with O's. We could replace them with, like the number 5, which might make it easier to see. We could replace DV. You just put as much as you want in there. So that's pretty neat. You can also change this to an ampersand. And now it looks like nothing's changed. Ampersand actually is the thing that matched, kind of similar to like sed if you've ever seen that. So I'll put an underscore here and underscore here. This is just for visualization. But you can see that we've replaced the D with underscore underscore D underscore 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 A underscore underscore. So this is cool. This is like a back reference to it effectively. I think it's a shell option that is turned on by default in newer versions of bash. So this can trip people up. If you want a literal ampersand, you have to escape it or quote it. When you escape it, then we get literal ampersands here. So yeah, definitely something to keep in mind, something to be aware of. Now another thing we can do here, let's go back and let's make our nice little string, Dave Eddy, cool. And now we can echo S, that's just our string, nothing going on there, :0. Okay, that just looks like our string. :1, :2. See what's happening here? We're making substrings. We can make substrings with bash, and colon is the starting position. So what comes after the first colon is the character in we want to start. So we want a substring starting at the 4th character. We want a substring starting at the 5th character. It goes until the end. We can specify 0, that's a full string. We can also give it another number here, and we can say, I only want 2 characters from it. I only want 4 characters from it. I want to start a character 2, but I want 4 characters. I want to start a character 1, but I want 4 characters. See what's happening here? So you can substring strings with bash, which is super nice. And one of the cool things about it is we're substringing at 1. We can also substring it at -1. So what do you think is going to happen here? It's a little confusing, right? What's going on? It just says Dave Eddy. Be careful with this, because this :- operator is actually taking precedence here, and it's saying, oh, if S is not set, then become the literal string 1. That's not what we want. We want it to treat it like a number, so put a space here. Put a space here, and now we can substring S backwards. So we have that. We can go backwards. We can go backwards 2. We can go backwards 3. So you can substring from right to left effectively, which is super nice. A really cool thing that you can do. You can also, of course, do something like, I want to start at the 1st character, and I want to go all the way until the 2nd to last character. Totally valid. You just chop off the 1st character and the last character. I don't know why you'd want to do this, but you absolutely can do this. And I'll teach you a cool little thing. If you want to loop over a string character by character, we have all the constructs we need to do that. So let's do car by car. We're going to make a new script here where we will loop over a string character by character. chmod +x car by car. And then we can do s equals Dave Eddy. We can get the length of the string, which is the # and then s, and then we can do our C style for loops. I equals 0, I less than len, I plus plus. There we go. And now we just need to get the character out of the string. And the way we can do that is we can substring s. What are we substring it on? We start a character I, and we only want 1 character. So we are substringing this, starting at I, just extracting 1 from it, and then we have the character. So we can say $C here. So with this, we are able to, I'll show the source code. We can loop over a string character by character. You may want to do this, maybe you want to load it into an array or something. Here is the knowledge to be able to do that. You can just substring it like this. Substrings, parameter expansion, all that stuff in Bash, super powerful. I have scratched the surface with things you can do. There is also like parameter transformation and stuff. It can get pretty crazy here, where if I have like $S, I can also do this and put an @ here and put like a capital A. The @ is way different, and this gives it to you in a shell safe way that can be parsed. I can paste this back into my shell and run it. I can look at the attributes of a thing. I think Q is to quote it. I'm making a lot of these up off the top of my head. I knew them at one point. I think U is for uppercase and stuff like that. You can also just use this notation. That's called parameter transformation, very similar to parameter expansion. But if you want to look it up on your own time, go take a look into that. Parameter transformation, really cool. A lot of cool ways you can mess with data in Bash.